Okay, so this is what it means now, what I was saying. Your high performance is basically draining your brain and it is quietly destroying you. So every promotion that you get and every crisis that you have solved and every deadline that you have met, what it is doing. And every time you got a crisis solved, every time you met a deadline, your SNS is being fed, it is rewarded. That means the high beta is constantly getting rewarded. So when you reward the high beta all the time, when you reward the thing that is destroying you, it is going to grow further. And that's what is happening. And now it has become a habit. Now it has become a situation. It has come to a situation where it is not switching off anymore. So when it is not switching off, what will you do? I mean, because it is not switching off, it is not a motivation problem. It is not a discipline problem. The hardware has tend to understand that it is always wanting to be on the high beta levels, and that is why it has forgotten to switch off, or I would say the off mechanism, the off switch is broken. So what it is actually doing to you, just like when you get into a let's say you are on a dream or you are in the jungle and you are being chased by a tiger. So our body has got two engines. Our nervous system has got two engines. One is called the sympathetic nervous system, and another is called the parasympathetic nervous system. So the sympathetic nervous system kicks in when some emergency comes up, when some crisis comes in. So just like a tiger is chasing you, so all the blood that will be circulated, that will be pushed to the muscles, and your brain gets a signal on to go to high beta, and you get into a point where it has to be either running or either you confront either. So that means it is always on a high energy level on the high beta. Now high energy contrast to high beta are two different things, so we'll talk about that in a while. But the active sympathetic nervous system is what makes you move faster, is making you move faster, and then you are always on that state. Now contrast, you look at the person sitting at the desk. What is he doing? He's sitting at the desk, but still he's feeling like a tiger is chasing. Maybe a deadline is chasing. Maybe a some project needs to be met. Some meeting needs to be done. So it is always on the high beta, and because you are always on the high beta, on the high stress levels, the sympathetic nervous system always is switching on. It is always on the on position, is the on the on line position, and it never switches off. And it never switches off. So what is happening here? There are things throughout the body. We have got all the organs. There are different ways it is affecting all the organs also. Like I said, if the tiger is chasing you, if you are chasing a goal, if you are confronted with some difficult tasks or a difficult target, so what happens? Your pupils get dilated. Your pupils get dilated. Your heartbeats go high. They go really high. The heart rate goes really high. The stomach gets suppressed, gets cramped, and the adrenaline is activated. Now there are many other activities that happens when the sympathetic nervous system goes really high, and this is called the high beta dominance. With the high beta dominance, the parasympathetic nervous system goes partially offline. Because of the sympathetic nervous system is always on the high demand, the the overall nervous system always thinks that this person is always on a high beta state. This person is always demanding high beta states. What is supposed to fire one time for a crisis, so resolve the crisis and switch off, what has happened to your system is like it fires in at the 6 a.m. with the email or a notification coming in, and it stays on all through the dead of the night. That means it is staying through a very long time. So what is happening here? the amygdala is lit up now. That means the amygdala is actually firing up, and it is firing to the prefrontal cortex. And the prefrontal cortex is supposed to do the calm decision. It is supposed to be in a stable state. So prefrontal cortex is the one that is supposed to take, calm decisions. It does not happen. It is the think center that goes offline. So when the think center goes offline, the sympathetic nervous system has pushed your parasympathetic nervous system. It has kicked the system out. So what has happened? It has blocked the prefrontal cortex activities. Because of it, what happens? The decisions that is coming from the cognitive space, they are impaired, they are subjugated, right? It's not that you are tired, it's not you are distracted. No, the whole structure has been impaired because of the high beta dominance all the time. So the structural impairment that has been incorporated by a regular practice of high beta dominance has structurally moved your parasympathetic nervous system out of the active region. And the sympathetic nervous system is in, it is always online, and it is keeping you up. So at times it also happens, like, it is kicking in, and it also destroys your sleep. So when the sympathetic nervous system is always active, the high beta dominance is always active. So the upper portion of the thing that you are seeing, it is a sleep cycle of a normal person. Normal person means, I mean, the person who is not having a high sympathetic nervous system always active. So the person becomes tired, they come back from work, and then they are tired, they go to sleep. Their sympathetic nervous system switches back to parasympathetic nervous system very quickly. Please understand, the sympathetic nervous system is supposed to act for a very small time, a 90-second crisis, maybe couple of minutes. It cannot elongate for 14 hours a day. Now, if the sympathetic nervous system kicks in every single time, then it is keeping you active all throughout your work duration, maybe 14 hours or 12 hours a day. So the moment you come back from work and try to sleep, this is what happens. Your high beta brain waves, they do not stop. They do not release the dopamine. They do not release your sleep hormones, right? So even at the bedtime, they do not stop. So because they do not stop, they are, so the person, you are actually not reaching the deep sleep. So there are five stages of sleep that happens, that we'll talk about in a while. But the overall sleep cycle gets destroyed. And if you think that you go to sleep and then you got a shallow kind of a sleep, it was not a very deep sleep. You went to sleep tired, and in the middle of the night you wake up, and then the sleep breaks, and then you watch at your time, I mean maybe your phone, to look at the time, and it is maybe 2 a.m. or 3 a.m., and you're still active. The brain is still active, and it is still processing the days, the whole thing that is supposed to be processed. Or it is not the time to process the day's activities, it is the time to sleep. But your brain is still processing because it is on the high beta dominance. So with the sleep architecture destroyed, what will happens? Your digestion goes down. Your bodily, there are many things that happens. The body releases toxins, the muscular level toxins, the brain level toxins. The heart does a cleanup of the whole blood vessels, the bloodstream. The muscles get relaxed, and the brain also processes a lot of things that are supposed to be discarded. So a lot of toxic things that get accumulated through our food and many other means, when you go to actually deep sleep, the whole body gets rejuvenated. But if you don't go to that deep sleep state, all the toxins still remain. Your digestive system goes down. Your hair starts to gray up very fast. Your body does not get nourishment. The toxins that are supposed to be released at the end of the day and at the beginning of the day before you go to work, they are not released. I mean, maybe sometimes constipated, maybe sometimes you don't get clear up, sometimes you don't get proper freshen. Even if you take a bath, you don't feel fresh up, right? So all those things happen because of the high beta dominance in the sympathetic nervous system. Now, when you come back from your work, you sit at the dinner table, you are physically present, but neurologically somewhere else. Your combat engine has already dominated your space, your own existence, your own presence. The relationship presence requires the recovery core to be online. So the recovery core that I'll be talking maybe in the next video or maybe in a while. What is that recovery core and how does it work and how does it function so that you get the things in place? But what is happening right now? You are at the dinner table, everybody is watching you, they are observing something that you are not able to observe. They have seen you, the person they fell in love with you was a different person. And now, when you come back from your work, there is a stiffness in your shoulders that they can see even before you can understand what they see. And what they do, they quietly withdraw themselves from you. Why? Not because they don't love you anymore. No, they still love you. But they think that you are already disturbed. You are already, having a lot of pressure. So they don't want to disturb you. They don't want to, interfere in your space. Probably you need more space, and that's what they think. But the problem is there is a neurological, shift that has happened, and the sympathetic nervous system is kicking in so high that it is not bringing down, it is not downshifting to the parasympathetic nervous system, because of which even though your body is present in front of your family members, you are still thinking about the uh, targets, maybe the emails or maybe the proposals or maybe the next quarter's targets or something. I mean, so basically you are not in the present moment. You may have gone to dine out. The food does not taste the way it used to be earlier. The ambience does not make any effect on you. I mean, wherever you go, you are like the same person. I mean, you may be putting up a smile on the face, but then on the back, on the inside, there is a lot of pressure. There is a lot of stress that is happening inside. It's good that you are able to handle a lot of stress, but if you handle a lot of stress for a long time, it actually puts you on a high SNS mode, high sympathetic nervous system mode, on a high beta mode, and that's a dangerous state to be in 14 hours long in throughout the day. So your family members notice there is a different person that we are dealing with. So what is happening now? When a situation comes, you need to take a decision, maybe at your workplace, maybe at your family, maybe at your career, maybe in crossroads of your life. The decisions are always made from the combat engine state. So you are all your adrenaline is very high, you're on combat mode, and the decisions are made in that state. The combat engine is optimized for short-term threat removal. It is not designed for long-term goals, right? So the long-term legacy thinking, what you're actually currently building, or what you leave as a legacy, or you know you may be looking for a purpose of life. You have done a lot of things, but then you still are lacking maybe the purpose of life, or you are still looking for the purpose of life. What am I doing here? Why am I here? These are the very deep questions in life, and that requires a neurological state of parasympathetic nervous system which you are rarely able to access. So because of which all your decisions are happening on a high beta state, and they are all happening at a threat level. And you may be taking a decision that is right most of the time. But there is a hollow in the heart that is practically making you uncomfortable inside, but you're not able to express it to somebody, to some people. You're not able to mention, you're not able to open up with people, and it is still troubling you. If that is there, then switching to parasympathetic nervous system is actually going to help you. So now what we will do here is that your brain has got two sections, as I mentioned in the beginning, has got two systems. One is called the sympathetic nervous system, that's one half, and the other half, I mean, this is symbolic representation. The brain is not divided into these two sections, per se, but then it is a pictorial understanding. So one half of the operating system is a sympathetic nervous system that kicks in to operate at the combat engine mode, and the other half is a parasympathetic nervous system that operates at a lower frequency modes, that's maybe the theta or the alpha levels, brain waves. That is where the better decisions happen, emotional connections happen, and the purpose healing happens. So we'll talk about that. How do we achieve that state, and what does parasympathetic nervous system actually do, and how that broken switch can be repaired. Yeah. So the link is there in the description for the next thing that I'm talking about, is the parasympathetic nervous system. So you can go and check that. And if you like the understanding, please click and share with the people, those who are on the high beta dominance and they are always on the sympathetic nervous system high range. And mostly this will help most of the people in that zone. So thank you very much. See you, and we'll stop now. Bye bye.